Hey guys! Alright, so as the title says, today we're talking about shame, anxiety, and fear. And it's interesting how, as much work as I've done on myself and healing, that these three are just kind of this constant nemesis, if you will, this constant, like, super highway of thought that I have to actively work to solve, to work through, and to get to the other side of it, right? Because if I sat in the fear and anxiety and shame, then I wouldn't function very well. And the reason I wanted to do this video is because it's only through God that we can heal, and it's only through God that we can even begin to contemplate how to get to the other side of these crosses. And in some ways, as St. Paul says, some of these crosses are going to be with us forever. They're just God's, perfect will knows what we need to get to heaven, to get to salvation. And so some of these things we're just going to battle forever. That said, there are ways that we can kind of start to work through the shame and fear and anxiety to get to the other side. So I thought in this little video, I was going to kind of express, the things I battle so that you can kind of decide if this is something you can relate to or not. And then the ways that I work through it as best I can, and then also accept it. Okay, so the shame comes from the other side of perfectionism. And perfectionism, I've just realized, is a cross that I will be battling probably for the rest of my life. It doesn't mean it has to be a problem. It just means that I have to be aware of it, that my thoughts are going to, I'm not being the perfect mom, I'm not being the perfect wife, I'm not being the perfect homemaker, I'm not being the perfect cook, fill in the blank. And those are where my thoughts go, and it creates shame. And shame is a pretty intense feeling that I think a lot of us aren't even aware that we're feeling, that we're suffering from. And the more we attune ourselves to our emotions, which are all from God, the more we can get the signals of, like, when we need to start working on ourselves a bit more, or maybe we need a rest, or there's something that we need that we're not getting. I'm in the middle of something. Can you wait, please? Okay, then go take it. And so then, so then the anxiety comes, and this is probably my bigger cross, is this anxiety over the future. Whether it's 5 minutes from now, or tomorrow, or 5 months from now, my mind wants to go to the next stressor. Instead of living in the present moment, right here, right now with you, which is why I think one of the reasons why I like doing this is that it keeps me kind of present. It immediately goes to, oh, tomorrow I have this thing I need to do, and I have to get these papers together, and then I have to make sure that Ryan drives me, and then I have to sit in this little cubicle, and hopefully they'll, I want to go this way, and it's just this, it can become distracting, and it can become needless emotional turmoil, right? Net, as we call it in the empowered wife world. And so I just need to be aware. That's what I'm doing, right? So for example, Chloe got her braces, but in August, she's going to get her herpes device and her herpes appliance to move her jaw forward. And I have all sorts of feelings around putting this device in my daughter. I don't want to do it, but I know that it's the prudent thing to do. So we are. And I have all sorts of fears and worries and anxieties over this. And so my mind wants to jump to that day that she's getting that device instead of living in the present moment of, we're safe right now. We're safe. Everything's okay right now. And even tomorrow I need to make a phone call to change that appointment. And it's just always kind of pushing, my default is to kind of leap to the next thing that's going to cause me anxiety and worry, instead of being like, I'm here, I'm safe now. So we'll talk about that more in a minute. And then the third thing with the fear is this overarching kind of fear that I'm somehow missing it. I'm somehow not living life the way I'm supposed to, and I just feel in general, and I know this can be an ADHD thing or a neurodivergence, where it's like you just don't quite feel like you're getting it. And so if I look at my life and I start thinking about it too much, I can just be like, wait, what am I even doing? And then I start shitting myself, right? I should be doing this, or I should be doing that, and then the perfectionism will come in, and it's like this spiral of the perfectionism, of the shame, fear, and anxiety, all in this like cycle. And it can be a really hard place to live if you're not aware it's going on. And so I've caught parts of it in the past, but I think this morning I really was able to sit with, oh no, it's not just fear. It's not just anxiety, and it's not just shame. It's this mirage of the three, and they play off each other, and they talk to each other, and I wonder who's wounded. I wonder what I need to do to heal. But the first thing I want to do is I want to, as Father Mike says, hand it to God. Say, okay, God, you're allowing the shame, you're allowing the fear, you're allowing the anxiety. Use this for my salvation. And that's what the homily I shared on Sunday is like, use this for my salvation. I'm feeling anxious. How do I use this to further your kingdom? And maybe it's making this video and letting other people know that like you're not alone. Maybe it's teaching that our thoughts create our feelings. And so the thought that's creating the anxiety is all these future thoughts, and even saying something to myself like, Laura, you're safe right now. And that's in the future. And God's not in the future. God's in the present moment. So here I am, I'm safe, and I'm with God. Sometimes that's all I need. And just becoming aware that that's where my thoughts are running to, because ultimately I am missing life if I'm always living in the future, right? Ultimately, my fear is coming true because I'm stuck in either the shame of the past, I wasn't doing it right, and then maybe even a little bit of like, I'm never going to do it right, and that fear, shame cycle, right? And then an anxiety kicks in of like, well, and I have this other thing that's now thrown at me, and we have all sorts of feelings about this thing. And so it's a lot to process. And I'm not even saying we have to process it all, as much as I think just becoming aware that that's where our minds are going. And it does ultimately cause us to miss out on the present moment. So as I film this, it's Sunday morning. We're leaving for Mass in about an hour. I need to kind of get my head around what are the things I need to leave the house, what books do I want to bring? What intention do I want to bring to Mass? Who do I want to offer my Mass for? What is it maybe that I'm going to eat when I get home from Mass, to look forward to, and I can just rest in today. One thing I want to do is touch some homeschool prep. So maybe even like laying that out now so that my future self, when I get home from Mass, has some direction. Because one thing I've noticed that causes anxiety for me, or even some issues of perfectionism, is I get home from Mass and I don't know what to do with myself. I have all these things I should be doing when I get home from Mass. Like, I should be doing a spiritual reading. I should be listening to yet another homily. It's like, how many homilies do I need to listen to, Laura, to be the perfect Catholic, And I should be playing something with my kids. Like, I really should be interacting with my kids on Sundays, or every day. And then my dog is going to need some attention. And where's the cat at? And what does Ryan want? And then it's like, whoa, and then what do I want? Like, what do I want? Out of, we get home around 2. So like, what do I want for those like 3 hours between getting home and dinner? What do I want for dinner? Like, do we even have a plan for dinner? Do I need to do something for dinner now? And so it's just, I think just the awareness is the biggest step, because then it allows you to kind of take that deep breath and go, okay, like maybe I just need to write all this down and make a game plan. But if I sit in just the worry, just the anxiety of like, oh gosh, I don't know what's for dinner, and then I start kind of obsessing about that because now I'm not the perfect fill in the blank, right? And then it's like, oh, and I'm missing it because I should just be like, I should be having dinner ready every day. Like, that's what normal people do. And then you're not acting normal. And then somehow you're missing and then like talk about the shame and fear cycle when you think about what you're not giving your kids. Anyway, I made this video for anyone who just needs someone else to come alongside them and let them know like you're not alone. And there are ways to start working towards healing, but also just choosing different thoughts and allowing God to use it, as Father Mike says, like use the anxiety. Like I'm like, use this introspection that comes from, honestly, from the luteal side of your cycle. Like after you ovulate, that 2 week period, there's a lot of thoughts and emotions that come up and surface, and use it, Lord. Use it for my salvation. What do I need to change when I start my new cycle and things are fresh and it's like this fresh start? What do I need to do on the other side of this? Like, help me now to figure out what to do then. And anyway, living cyclically as a woman is amazing, but that's probably another time. So you guys, Pax Christi, God bless. Share down below if you're struggling with fear, anxiety, or shame. I don't have a lot of like anger, but I know some people, that's a really strong emotion that kind of creeps up a lot. So you could also discuss that down below, and maybe we can help each other kind of brainstorm ways to help each other. And I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye. Pax Christi.